For 6 years, the world's most visible music group vanished. Their lead single, Swim, frames this hiatus as a descent into an empty ocean, a navigation through a massive, silent gap in time. That extended silence left millions of fans and the music industry adrift, waiting for a return that appeared increasingly uncertain. This distance resonates with Han, the uniquely Korean sentiment of deep sorrow, longing, and unresolved pain that has anchored the culture for centuries. BTS chose to lean into this absence. Rather than moving past the 6-year gap, they used the cultural gravity of Han as the foundation for their return. The emotion of Han is the core of Arirang. This ancient folk song centers on the weight of parting and the endurance required for an endless wait. Using traditional instruments like the gayagum and haegum, Korean music has carried this specific frequency of longing through an unbroken historical continuum. By reclaiming the title Arirang in 2026, BTS connected the historical concept of parting and waiting directly to their own 6-year separation from the public. Their personal hiatus became a modern chapter in a centuries-old narrative of separation. The album then executes a sharp pivot from Han into Heung, the explosive Korean spirit of collective joy and kinetic resilience. This shift is mirrored visually through a neo-Korean aesthetic. The palette moves to deep indigo, gold, and charcoal, fusing ancient motifs with modern geometry. The visual identity is anchored by the historical weight and structural precision of traditional Korean architecture. They contrast that ancient symmetry directly against the hyper-futuristic metropolis of modern Seoul, where the album's production actually took place. This visual tension reflects the album's central objective, channeling historical grief into a high-energy pop landscape. Sonically, the album moves away from the isolated reflection of the opening track, Swim. The track Body to Body serves as the primary manifestation of Heung, utilizing a cross-cultural dance-pop structure designed for collective celebration. To build this anthemic sound, the group brought in Western collaborators. Ryan Tedder helped engineer the track's soaring vocal arrangements. Producer Diplo added a sharp electronic edge, providing the track with a resilient, club-ready energy. The album continues its exploration of joy with Merry Go Round, a track that uses psychedelic influences to explore the theme of reunion. For this specific sonic landscape, they partnered with Kevin Parker of Tame Impala, integrating his atmospheric production style into the album's second half. These international producers provided the technical language required to translate the uniquely Korean concept of Heung for a global audience. The reaction to this return was immediate. The commercial metrics suggest the global audience had spent the last 6 years in active anticipation. This chart compares standard first-week sales across the industry. On the far right, Arirang stands alone with 4.2 million copies sold. That footprint supported a massive logistical operation, the Arirang World Tour, spanning 85 dates across 34 cities. In physical terms, those figures translate to a consistent string of sold-out stadium crowds around the globe. These figures suggest more than a standard market success. They point toward a massive, synchronized re-engagement with the group on a global level. BTS processed the heavy weight of Arirang's sorrow and redirected it into a unified, record-breaking celebration. Looking back at their earliest years, this evolution is clear. They moved from typical trainee origins into a position of significant cultural longevity. A 6-year hiatus often ends the commercial peak of a group. By returning with a strategy rooted in centuries-old history, BTS demonstrated their influence is no longer tied to the standard lifecycle of a pop act. By mastering the pendulum swing between Han and Heung, they have secured a legacy as the global ambassadors of the Korean spirit.